filling office. So I go to the first question by, I think, our good friend from NTA, basically calling for the figures, the numbers of candidates submitted by political parties for presidential and national assembly. You would have noticed that shortly after you asked the question, one of the directors came over here. We are compiling the figures, so we hope at the end of this press conference we'll make this available to you. Then you asked if there was a submission from Zamfara State. INEC did not receive any submissions from the Zamfara State. But beyond that, I won't say more because the matter is before the courts, and therefore subject. But we did not receive any submissions of candidates from APC from Zamfara State. And then you asked that, somebody asked that the certificate of one of the candidates is with the military. Are you asking for confirmation whether the certificate is with the military? Because another person asked whether there are candidates in similar yesterday, the form CF001 in all the constituencies. For all candidates nominated by their political parties, please do the needful as a citizen. Check, and we'll come back to this conversation later. Ajayi Vanguard, you asked about the legal framework for the 2019 general elections and the possibility of implementing some of the new provisions ahead of the elections. I want to say that over the last 3 years, we worked very closely with the National Assembly on improving the legal framework for the conduct of elections, both constitutional and the Electoral Act. Many of the new provisions in the bill passed this week by the National Assembly were actually based on recommendations from the Commission. In our discussions with the National Assembly, we have been privy to some of the provisions in the draft bills, and we took a proactive step. We took some of the new provisions and assumed that eventually these provisions will be passed and assented to, and started looking at the possibilities of introducing regulations and guidelines in case these provisions become law. What can we do to implement them? And I want to say that we have gone really far with this. If tomorrow the bill is assented to, there are provisions that we can immediately implement. But there are provisions that we can't implement simply because of time. For instance, full-blown electronic voting. Within the time frame available to the next general election, which is 112 days, to make provision for electronic voting in the 2019 general elections. So we are aware of the provisions. We have worked closely with the National Assembly, and also we have made some draft regulations and guidelines. In case some of the provisions become law, we'll have no difficulty implementing them. So we have been proactive. Punch, is it possible to publish these forms online? Nothing is impossible. We can publish the forms, but I'm unsure that within the time available for us to do the publication. Yesterday for Presidential and National Assembly, and November 2nd for Governorship and State Assembly, if this can be online immediately, but it's a possibility that the Commission is considering. Remember, there are forms for 1,558 constituencies. If you multiply that by the number of political parties that submit nominate candidates, you are talking about literally thousands of forms. And you need much bigger space than probably what we have at present on our website. But I have noted that suggestion is a possibility that the Commission will consider going forward. But I'm unsure that within the time available, that is between 2nd of November and like a week after the 2nd of November, we'll be able to publish this online. But the law said that we should publish in the constituencies where the nominated candidates are contesting elections, and that is exactly what we have done. To be added by publishing on the website as well, we'll gladly consider doing so. Then you asked about Rivers suspended Port Harcourt 3 state constituency by-election. Yes, what we are going to do in Rivers, similar to what we have done in Rivers before, is to engage with the stakeholders before we fix a date to conduct the elections in Port Harcourt 3. I want to assure you that no constituency in Nigeria will be left unrepresented. But we need to address the issues that led to the Commission invoking its powers under Section 26 of the Electoral Act to suspend the election in Port Harcourt 3 state constituency. Budget and procurement processes, are we concerned? Well, the first point I would like to make is that by now you are aware that the National Assembly has passed the budget. The budget for INEC is 189.2 billion naira. This was exactly what the Commission submitted to the Executive. It was exactly what the Executive submitted to the National Assembly, and is what the National Assembly appropriated for the Commission. So in other words, it's now settled that there's no discrepancy between what INEC submitted and what the Executive has submitted. It's 189.2 billion. Yes, we had some discussions with the Ministry of Finance on the disbursement of funds for the elections, and we are confident that we are not going to suffer any encumbrances in that respect. That we are very clear following our discussions with the Ministry of Finance. As for the procurement processes that require long term, we have already initiated action. After all, under our laws, you don't pay for job not done. You only pay for job not done. So we have engaged consistent with the provisions of the Public Procurement Act, and we have awarded those contracts that we needed to award for procurement that we needed to make before the election. Materials, ballot boxes, smart card readers, the permanent voter cards, the voting cubicles, and components for the enhancement of the smart card readers. Our hope is that by the first week of December, all these components will be delivered to the Commission. The election is holding on the 16th of February and the 2nd of March. So we don't hope to suffer from any difficulties in meeting those requirements for the conduct of the general elections. Other items of expenditure will come close to the elections. For instance, payment for adult staff will be done in February next year, not earlier. Engagement of transporters for electoral logistics will also be done next year, not this year. And so we should be able to meet all these commitments based on the appropriation by the National Assembly and also the cash flow discussions we had with the Ministry of Finance. We don't expect to suffer any inconvenience in that regard. Election is a sovereign responsibility, and we must say that the government of Nigeria has responded to the request for proper funding of the 2019 general elections. Are there other candidates whose certificates are with the military? Have responded to that one. We have made this so open. Just go to the constituencies, you will see what is published. And at that point, once you see what is published, you can initiate some discussions. But this is an opportunity for citizens to look at the forms submitted by candidates. Are there details in the forms that you think are inaccurate? Citizens can actually, while they are convinced they are, initiate legal action. And we have made this open. There is nothing that is hidden in the processes leading to the nomination of candidates for the 2019 general elections. So the door is open. It's now left to citizens to actually do their own part. Out of 89 49 parties that fielded candidates, we have a total of 1,803 candidates vying for 109 senatorial seats. 1,803 candidates vying for 109 senatorial seats. We have 4,548 candidates vying for 360 federal constituencies, contesting for elections in 360 federal constituencies. But as I promised, we'll give you the details at the end of this briefing, including the breakdown of which party has fielded what number of candidates for what type of elections. This is only for the presidential and National Assembly, meaning Senate and House of Representatives. When we hold a similar meeting in the first week of November, we should be able to give you the statistics for governorship, and we'll hold governorship elections in 29 states, and then state assembly elections in 991 constituencies. So we'll provide this detailed breakdown to you later. Thank you very much.